Can you smell that?
Sure can.
That's holiday season coming.
It's the Rotisserie Prime Rib holiday season.
Whoa. Today on Dad's Guide to the Universe.
Prime rib is a classic holiday staple, and we've got the foolproof recipe just for you.
Step 1 is trussing.
Hey, I'm not gonna do that for you if you keep doing that.
Maybe you move your finger faster.
No, you don't have to go down so fast.
Doing a proper rotisserie includes a long cook, so you want to make sure you're giving the connective tissue some added support.
Otherwise, you risk having your roast fall apart while it's on the spit. Now it's time for a rosemary salt bath.
There's a fine line when you're making the salt between rosemary salt and perfume salt. You get a little bit too much of this in here, it tastes like rosemary perfume. The reason why we do this in here is we want the oils from the rosemary to coat every single tiny little granule of salt so we get that flavor everywhere.
Now we salt.
It's snowy and sticky after it goes through there because it has all the oil from the rosemary. This isn't only seasoning, it's a dry brine, and over time the salt will absorb into the beef, making it super tender. Anything that's left over on the surface still will probably actually knock off. It's gonna absorb all the salt it needs.
All right, let's make some potatoes au gratin.
Typically, I love leaving the skins on a lot of our potato dishes.
But with potatoes au gratin, take all the skin off. It's just beautiful. They get really tender. The presentation is nice, and you can let the cheese shine.
Then we'll take our potatoes to a mandolin and carefully slice.
Always put your potato slices in ice water. You don't want them to oxidize.
Now we build.
Coat the bottom of your cast iron with some oil and spread that around with a stick of butter. Then pat your potatoes dry and start to layer. A little salt and pepper, a little bit of cheese, not a lot, it's gonna be a lot of layers. Now we're gonna start layering in some Gruyere. Once we get halfway through, we're gonna add some of our cream. If you love these types of potatoes, you need to check out our Hatch Chili potatoes au gratin recipe in our cookbook. Link is in the description. Freshly ground nutmeg, butter knife.
Nice layering.
Thank you. The table's a mess. What's in the pan is gorgeous.
Oh yeah. We'll wrap in foil with a dome so we lock in the moisture and we don't touch that cheese.
It's like a Jiffy Pop Top.
Jiffy Pop Top.
Those go in the big green egg about 250 to 300 degrees until these potatoes get fork tender.
Then we'll unwrap and get some color in the pizza oven.
If you don't have a pizza oven, that's okay. You can do it at home. In your oven, just crank it up, or, as Mark always says, put it in a broiler.
On a low rack.
Oh, look at that. You know what? We don't need to use the torch after all. Mark, no torch.
That's pretty perfect.
Back to the beef.
Look at this. We've dry brined this overnight in the fridge, uncovered.
This is 24 hours later. For some reason, we're wearing the same clothes. We did actually put this in the fridge for 24 hours. It's not TV magic. It absorbed a lot of the salt, and you can see it leaves the rosemary on the surface. Salt has a really hard time penetrating fat. We totally covered these ends.
It was like packed on the sides, but now it's absorbed into the meat itself.
Whereas if you ever have too much fat on the outside, take a little off. All right, guys, here is the moment.
It's a little nerve-wracking though, because if you don't get it straight through, bad things can happen.
So this is an expensive cut of meat.
Yep.
If you put this in crooked, you either need to fix it, which is just gonna leave a second giant hole in the middle of this beautiful roast, or it's gonna cook uneven. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Ready. You need the right tools for the right job. I have a level, I have our skewer, I have my Rami mallet torches.
What are the torches for?
I don't know, I have them, so I thought I'd bring them.
Give me. Did you check the level?
Is the table level?
I don't know.
We're going slightly bone side of center, which is hopefully gonna give us
Structural integrity.
the center of gravity and structural integrity, because you don't want this thing to flop around or have one side be too close to the fire.
Got it.
How'd I do?
Spot on.
All right, the rod is through. The next thing that we have to do, put the forks on, but we're not gonna actually put them in the meat until we get the roast lined up exactly
In the middle.
with the burner.
We gotta actually brush off a lot of this salt. It would be way too salty if we kept this on here.
The huge benefit of using a rotisserie is the incredibly even cooking that happens.
Great to be gone.
I think we should put a drip tray under it. Wow, this setup is pretty sick. As the roast is rotating at a constant rate around one given heat source, it produces almost perfect results with no flare-ups and a subtle ambient heat. We're locked. PR team's ready.
Copy that. Prime rib is go for launch. T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition.
Final temp after cooking needs to be 130, so we're setting our probe alarm to 120 so we can account for carryover. I'll say it again, probe that meat.
Well, that's cooking. Let's make some carrots.
We're simply gonna drizzle some olive oil, sprinkle some salt, crack some pepper, and microplane some fresh ginger.
Microplanes.
Give those a quick toss and leave them uncovered in the grill. While those cook, we'll prepare some dates.
Our carrots are fully cooked, but we want to add a little holiday cheer. On goes some honey, dates, and pomegranate molasses.
Now it's off to the pizza oven for some high heat. Roasted, caramelized, salty, sweet, however you like it, these are ideal. We'll finish with some lime, pomegranate seed, and fresh mint.
With any roast like this, you should be basting it. It's gonna give it a little bit of moisture protection, but it's also gonna add flavor.
So we're not gonna skimp on our basting method here. We're gonna use Wagyu beef tallow.
We're doing a rosemary mop. Oh my God, flavor frosting. How much would I have to pay you?
I mean, if you just dared me enough, I'd probably do
Eat
it.
a golf ball size
Yeah,
chunk
I
of that. All we need to do is let this get hot and it's ready. Kind of want to take a peek. Ooh, yeah. There's nothing better than painting an epic prime rib with glorious beef fat.
Well, that roast is on. Let's make some Yorkshire pudding.
It's a simple batter, eggs, flour, well, most of the flour.
Oh wow, there's a lot more.
A dash of water, some milk, and then we blend with our Ninja Foodie. This dough needs to sit. Rested batter climbs on itself and makes a big, poofy Yorkshire pudding. Freshly made does not. We're gonna leave this in the fridge overnight and then make sure it's out for at least 2 or 3 hours before we make our Yorkshire pudding so it's room temp.
Well, here's where it gets fun and dangerous.
We're gonna collect all of our beef drippings and tallow and pour a little bit into the base of each pudding cup. And then get that really freaking hot. It's a two-man team. You got one person handling all the hot stuff, but those gloves slow you down and screw up dexterity.
Doesn't affect me.
Tray's coming out, batter goes in immediately, and then immediately back in the oven.
I could do it by myself, but
If the pan cools down too much, they won't pop over.
look how high they got it.
That is a proper popover.
This wouldn't be complete without one more thing.
Horseradish cream sauce. I pulled this weed out of my garden earlier.
Did you know that horseradish is neither a horse or a radish?
They knew that actually. This is gonna take a minute. We need a quarter cup.
A quarter cup? Mm-hmm. Wow, it's gonna be spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Sour cream, white wine vinegar, cracked black pepper, Dijon, and some salt.
Are we gonna test this now, or are we just gonna see how it blows the doors off later?
Well, one last step for the prime rib.
It's been like over 3 hours. What do you think the play is here?
We're looking for coast to coast pink and a Maillard reaction on the outside. We're almost cooked, so now it's time to crank it up. We know we can get a good sear without overcooking the meat. This is all about being patient and getting the final payoff from your almost 30 hours of work. Good for you.
That's an epic sear. I hope this worked.
It better, because we don't have another 10 swaps. Damn, we're good. Unskewer.
Unskewer. All right, I'm gonna take off the little guys here.
Now that's a thing of beauty. All right, now I'm gonna cut these pesky ribs off.
There's two schools of thought when slicing prime rib. English style, which is on the thinner side, and American style for thick boys like us.
Never call me thick again.
Oh, yeah.
All right, before we get into this holiday feast, this goes out to our millions of subscribers on YouTube. We want to wish everyone a happy holidays.
We're gonna take a moment to wish each individual follower on our YouTube channel a happy holiday. Bob, Steve, Carrie, happy holidays.
Oh, you forgot about Marcia.
Marcia.
What color are you choosing?
I'm going straight up
You're
orange.
going old
carrot.
school orange? Purple me. That's crazy. Wow. Roasty, tender carrots. They're so delicious.
Sweet, smoky, love that char on the outside. And the best part, honestly, is the pop of the pomegranate seed.
I love that. And that hint of ginger.
Next up, potatoes.
I love potatoes au gratin. I could eat that entire cast iron pan.
You can taste the potatoes are seasoned all the way through, which is really important.
There are only a few ingredients in this dish, and it truly, truly lets the potato shine.
They're phenomenal.
Hey, give me a piece of pudding.
This had the beef drippings.
If you've never had Yorkshire pudding before, popovers, these will change your life. I eat more of these than anything else in my holiday dinner. Look at the layers. Look at this peeled off.
The best part about Yorkshire pudding, crispy on the outside and on the top, and the reason why they call it pudding is because the inside is creamy and delicious.
You know what's crazy? You can taste the rosemary that we had in the beef tallow.
This is crazy.
Light, fluffy, holds up. So skip the dinner rolls next time. Just make popovers. That's all you got to do.
Okay, I need the beef. We've got 30 hours into turning out the perfect prime rib.
This is exactly the color you want. The right temperature is right. It ended up, the carryover temperature went to around 132 degrees. Little horseradish cream sauce, perhaps. There you go. Wow, that actually really set up. The horseradish cream sauce got hotter.
That is good, oh my God. This is the most expensive horseradish sauce spoon I've ever made in my entire life.
And I had amazing instant hits of salt and rosemary.
The middle of this steak is so soft and so tender and so juicy. And then on the outside, you have this beautiful crust. And those two different textures creates the perfect bite of prime rib.
Yep. Absolutely magnificent cook. I gotta tell you, if you happen to get a rotisserie on a propane grill, man, invest in it. It is worth every single penny.
Please like and subscribe so we can stay in touch with you and show you what's up next on Dad's Guide to the Universe.
Woo! Do it! We'll make another prime rib.